because I remember thinking when I was a child, when I was herding cows for an old lady in my neighbourhood, and it was, for me, it was lonely because I was away from my brothers and sisters. I'd rather have been playing and doing other stuff. I remember thinking when I grow up, I'm never going to do this. I've been here since 1979. That must be over 30 years, I guess. Yeah. It was meant to be a camp, a base camp. It was my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time. Was a mountaineer, and she wanted to go in the mountains in the winter. And this was up in the snow, and it was also a free place to be. Yeah. When Amber was, my daughter was 2.5 years old, I'd brought her up here because my girlfriend at the time, we were, both of us were homeless, and I was wondering where we were going to spend the winter. And there was an old man in Johnson's Landing. He wanted me to get him some poles for his chicken house to build, and he knew there was nice straight cedar poles up here. So I take Amber up here and we get some poles, but in the process Amber forgets her red shoes, So I had to bring her back up here to get her red shoes. So I brought my girlfriend up here, and I was just wanting to see how she felt about the place, and she was just totally amazed by the place. So from there I knew, both of us like it here. So. And then this was in October of 1979, so we wanted to make a camp. And back then I could really work hard, and we wanted to make it so it wasn't really visible or whatever, because it was on Crown land. So I started digging down here, and she helped me, and we made that little downstairs place with a stove. I cut off a 45-gallon drum and put a hole for a lid and put it on the ground. That was our fire for the winter, and was putting the roof on the snow. And that's how we started here. And then the next spring, we were wondering if it wasn't too cold to grow a garden up here, so we planted. And she was a gardener, and she loved the whole horticulture thing. She was a beautiful gardener, flowers. She knew all the Latin names of every plant in the forest out here. Yeah. The next spring we started, out here it was just real deep slash, from the debris from logging, because back when the logged, they just knocked everything down. This was a first clear cut in the Lardo Valley here. It was little, 40 acres. And when the loggers, I knew the old man that logged here, and he told me that when the new regulations come in for clear cutting, because they didn't take it seriously when they logged, they just took out the stuff they could sell and they left the rest standing. But they got sent in to knock it all down. So that's when I come here, that's what it was like. People had been up here to get firewood and fencing material and all that, but basically it was, you needed cork boots to get around here. It was quite. So next spring we started clearing some of that up and burning some of it and taking some of it out, and that's what our place up here is built out of stuff that come out of the slash, I guess we were first of all the whole feeling of being illegal, being on Crown land and not that's something we had to deal with, whether or not we were going to get eviction notice or whatever. And that kind of stayed with me for a few years, and then I got over that, and then And as I got over that, then it become more home, because I got more attached to the place now, and now this is it for me probably. Yeah. My tenure on the land here, there's never been it's been temporary. It's a crown land, and it's not private. It's not real estate. And I made an effort at one time, myself and my wife, to buy or lease this where we live here, because we'd been here so long and we put so much effort into making clearings and gardens and so on, that we figured we'd get tenure on, and then we could build a better house and so on. But after about 8 years of application, trying and so on, we got turned down, and the only thing they would offer us was a license to occupy, which is just like a 5-year lease that could be renewable, but would have to agree to be off in 5 years if that's what they required. So I told them that I wouldn't make that kind of agreement. So that was the end of that effort. No compromise. Yeah. So then it left it pretty much in the same, which is okay with me, But if for instance my daughter wanted to live here, then that would be an issue, And things are changing. The possibility, like, that sometime there'll be crown land open to people for homesteading and farming. That's what I would imagine. I would hope for. Yeah. When I think of home, I think of the little thatched house I was born in the west of Ireland. I still think of it as that. But I felt like a drifter, a traveller. I'd travelled a lot around BC, and just seeing what was happening. I'd go down to the coast sometimes. I'd go up to the Caribou, the Chilcote, and camp, and then find some work to do for somebody. I worked for the hay rancher up there, cattle rancher, and that's where I first used horses in BC, was helping an old rancher put up hundreds of acres of hay with horses, and the only machine he had, a tractor machine he had, was the mower, and everything else he did with the horses, cutting it and stacking, or picking it up and stacking it, and me and him and an Indian family. Yeah. When I have people that come want to learn something of me, I just come and watch me. I'll show you how I do it. And that's where I start with people. That I have demand of people that people be observant, and then I'll see how you get it.